Are we all ready to proceed? Are we all okay? Just remember to use the microphones if you're going to be speaking. Okay. All right. So no one. I instruct Channel 31 to start live streaming the meeting. Welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. I'm the Mayor, Councillor Jasmine Nguyen. I declare this meeting open at 7:02 p.m. I would like to welcome the members of the public who have joined us tonight. The purpose of a council meeting is to conduct the business of a council in an orderly and constructive manner. Members of the public are not able to address council. In the unlikely event of emergency, please follow the direction of council officers and the emergency procedures on the wall near the door. I would like to note that I have given approval for Channel 31 to live stream this meeting. A recording of the meeting will be published on council's website. And I note that there are 6 councillors in the room today, and 6 councillors are required to maintain quorum at the meeting. So therefore, please let me know if you need to leave the meeting at all, and we can adjourn the meeting for a break. Yeah. Okay, so please everybody stand for the acknowledgement of country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, we respectfully acknowledge and recognise the Wurundjeri and Bunurong peoples as the traditional custodians of this land and pay respect to their elders, past, present and future. I ask councillors to remain standing for the council commitment. Others may be seated. As the council, we will act in the best interests of the Brimbank community and consider the immediate and long-term impacts of our decisions. We will make these decisions fairly and without bias. We will uphold all of our obligations under the laws of Victoria and Council's local laws and will act in accordance with our code of conduct. Councillors, please be seated. And we're moving on to apologies and leave of absence. Councillor Branson and Councillor Papalia have each submitted an apology for this meeting. We also note that Councillor Kerr has submitted a leave of absence for the period of the 2nd of November to the 28th of November for 2022. Councillor Liu has submitted a leave of absence for the period of 7 November to the 26th of November for 2022. Councillor Tarkus has submitted a leave of absence for the period of 4th of November to the 28th of November for 2022. And I have submitted a leave of absence for the period of the 21st of November to the 18th of December 2022. May I please have a mover to grant these requests, please? Councillor Borg?
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor David?
Secondable. Thank you.
Would any of you like to speak on this motion?
No, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other councillors who would like to speak on this motion, we'll move it to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest at the confidential item 16. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Hill. And in terms of the next item, please note that the 2022 Victorian State election is scheduled to be held on the 26th of November this year. And in accordance with section 6.2.1 of the Conduct During Election Period policy, which forms part of Brimbank's governance rules, a councillor who is a prospective candidate should declare their intended candidacy at a meeting of the council as soon as practicable after notifying the Chief Executive Officer. And noting that the nominations for this year's election closed on the 11th of November 2022. So councillors, are there any declarations of candidacy since the last council meeting? None. And for confidential items, there are 5 to be designated as confidential. Is there a mover of the motion to designate these confidential items? Yeah, Councillor Rashich.
I move the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Dang.
I second it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Rashid, would you like to speak on that?
No, thank you.
Councillor Dang.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak on that? We'll now move to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And can I please have a mover of a motion to confirm the previous council meeting minutes? Councillor Ball.
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor David. Councillor Ball, would you like to speak?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
And Councillor David? No. Any other councillors who like to speak on the minutes? None. So we'll put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion is carried. The minutes are confirmed. There are no condolences for this evening. And I understand that Councillor Lancashire would like to move a motion of congratulations.
Yes, indeed, Madam Mayor. I would like to move a motion of congratulations. Thank you. For the Mayor, Councillor Jasmine Nguyen, and the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Thuy Dang, for their excellent effort and work over the previous year. Thank you.
Oh. Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. Is there a seconder for this motion? Or congratulations?
I'd like to second that, Madam Mayor.
Oh, thank you, Councillor David. So, Councillor Lancashire, would you like to speak on your motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. It is usual practice in local government to acknowledge the work of the Mayor and Deputy Mayor over the previous year. This is a time-honoured tradition, and indeed the Mayor, Jasmine Nguyen, and Deputy Mayor Thuy Dang are both worthy of this honour. Thank you. Both have carried out their duties with respect, diligence and intelligence that these positions require. I congratulate both of you on your hard work and on what you have achieved over this last year. Firstly, to the Mayor, Councillor Jasmine Nguyen, our youngest Mayor and our first Mayor of Vietnamese heritage. You have served your community and indeed the whole Brimbank community proud. Right from the start, you have shown a level of energy and excitement that has left all of us breathless. I hope you don't mind that I have occasionally referred to you as our ever-ready bunny. Just the energy is fantastic, and whatever you have, I want some. Of importance to the Council, though, you have shown the ability to manage a diverse mob that we are, carrying from age to young to old, different ethnic backgrounds, different gender backgrounds, and political backgrounds. It's been a difficult task, and you have done that well. You have attended an untold number of community functions, the opening of parks and facilities. We have all noticed that the community has responded enthusiastically to your warm welcome. While you have represented the whole community, your attention to giving the young of Brimbank a voice is certainly a hallmark of your mayoral year, and thank you for that. Councillor Dang, you also have performed outstanding in the role of deputy, chairing the occasional meeting and attending to functions of council. You have shown that leadership when that's been called for, and that's been much appreciated. Thank you very much. I again congratulate both of you on your success and admirably fulfilling your role over the past year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. That was very touching words. Councillor David, would you like to speak a seconder?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think I'll say a few words as well. I think you left the whole of the Western region councillors jealous because I've seen all the mayors and deputy mayors since amalgamation, and that happy smile, we're going to miss it. Smiling all the way. Mayor Smilo, that's what it is, yeah. But look, I think the year passed very quick somehow. Maybe it's me, but I thought it passed very quick. We done well. And yeah, it's something that I saw a good type of a double, a mayor and a deputy mayor. And Councillor Dang, she done a wonderful job. While she replacing you some of the time, she done a wonderful job, and well done as well. You've done a wonderful job indeed. So both of you, thank you for your services, not just for us councillors, but the city of Brimbank. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor David. Would anybody else like to speak? Oh, Councillor Borg.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also like to join Councillor Lancashire and Councillor David in congratulating you and the Deputy Mayor, Thuy Deng, for your leadership throughout these last 12 months. I'll never forget your passion and enthusiasm in your speeches, and every time you met with the community and stakeholders, wherever you appeared, your passion and really shone through. So I want to thank you for all your hard work throughout these last 12 months. And Councillor Thuy Deng, again, you filled in the place at times as a deputy mayor and also as the chairperson. You did a wonderful job. So thank you so much for your contributions throughout the year as the deputy mayor. Thank you.
Oh, Councillor Brasic.
Thank you. I am proud of you as young mayor. What have you done for youth and engaged so many young people? Thuy has been doing a great job when you were away or when you couldn't do it. Great to see two Vietnamese councillors representing large Vietnamese community here in Brimbank. You both have done a fantastic job, and this year will be remembered as the great one. Thank you.
Oh, Councillor Dang, did you want to speak?
It's really touching. Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. Thank you, Councillor David, Councillor Board, and Councillor Bassett. I would like to echo the councillors on congratulations on your merit. You have a lot of energies. You give the smile to everyone, and we work well in the past year. And thank you for your support as well. And I'm proud to be working with you, and thank you all the councillors for your supporting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dang. I think all the councillors have spoken. Yeah, wow. Okay, thank you. With that, we'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. The motion carries. Yeah. Well, I just also want to say, as you know, I've been so privileged and honoured to serve as the mayor this year with our fellow Brimbank councillors. I want to reiterate, I'm only one voice out of 11, and all the things that we do couldn't be achieved without you, the councillors, all of us working together, but also with our executive team as well, and the staff. And yeah, Brimbank is a wonderful community that deserves a whole lot. And I suppose that is where the energy of it, because I know we still have so much that we can, you know, deliver for the community. And yeah, I hope that a lot of the community members out there go, like, it doesn't matter your age, your gender, your background, or your cultural, socioeconomic status. If you want to make a change or have an impact, you just got to have the energy to do it. But yeah, thank you so much. Like, it's been really, really a big, huge honour to serve the community in this capacity as mayor. And I really want to say some words to our Deputy Mayor, Thuy Dang. Like, she is just as much as I'm energetic, Councillor Madam Deputy Mayor Tsui Jang is the peaceful, harmonious councillor that we need in the council. She has a really great ability to listen to everybody and bring people in together. And I think, like, I'm so happy that and proud that we were able to work together as Deputy Mayor and Mayor. And, you know, it's the first time in history, I think, in Australia, where we had two Vietnamese Australian as the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor. And it goes to show, yeah, like, I think diversity is a huge strength of Brimbank. And that's reflected here in our council. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, public question time. Ms. Blatchford, I understand we have some questions from the public.
We have received questions from the public, Madam Mayor. Our first question is from Graham Bloor. Why has it been decided the new Mayor of Brimbank requires a mayoral assistant at further cost to the ratepayers of Brimbank when there are already supports in place?
Hello, this position has been created as a result of an operational review of the council support team. It is a repurposing of an existing vacant position within the council support team to provide dedicated support to the mayor of the day. Previously, support for the mayor and the councillors were all shared across the council support team, and this dedicated position will be responsible for providing general executive support and undertaking high-level administrative duties for the mayor. And there is no additional cost to council for this role.
Second question this evening from Graham Bloor. Were councillors involved in discussion about creating this new position, and if not, why not?
In accordance with the Local Government Act for 2020, the Chief Executive Officer is responsible for ensuring the effective and efficient management of the day-to-day operations of Council. This includes establishing and maintaining an organisational structure for Council and being responsible for all staffing matters, including appointing members of Council staff. The change was made within the set budget and was consistent with the Council Support Major Policy. It was therefore a matter which the Council did not have any capacity for influence.
Our third question this evening is from David Sajvar. Why is there no Christmas carols at the castle this year?
So Brimbank Council has held carols at the castle for 6 consecutive years, from 2014 and between 2019, noting that the 2018 event had to be cancelled due to extreme weather. And this was a ticketed or paid event, which was limited to 800 patrons. And in 2019, almost 40% of the people who attended this event lived outside of Brimbank. In 2022, with the removal of restrictions and with the aim to bring festive celebrations to as many people in our municipality as possible, Council has decided to continue to evolve our festive season celebrations with the introduction of December to Remember. And the December to Remember event will include 2 free significant community events that will be hosted on Friday, the 9th of December in Keilor, and on the Friday on the 6th of December in Sunshine, both from 6:30 to 10 p.m. And please, we'll continue considering community feedback following this year's events and planning our festive celebrations into future years.
Question from Jenny Isa. Who in Council approved the role for an executive assistant for a mayor who earns over $100,000 per annum, and why does a mayor need an executive assistant? Councillors already have a council support team. Could Council please explain this expenditure?
This position was approved by the CEO, consistent with her responsibilities for the ensuring of the effective and efficient management of the day-to-day operations of Council. Previously, the support for the Mayor and all councillors was shared across the team, and as said before, a dedicated role would be more efficient in supporting the duties of the Mayor, of which there are many responsibilities. There is no additional cost to the Council for this role.
And our final question this evening comes from Natalie Eddie Everett. Can you please tell me how much money has been budgeted and then spent in each ward over the past 5 years? Thank you.
The operating budget is not broken down into location or wards, as most services and functions provided are served widely in the municipality. There are some functions, such as the libraries, that are location-based. However, some of the costs of operating these buildings is held corporatively and not allocated to the branches. And these location-based services only represent a small portion of the total operating budget. With the capital works budget, there are projects that are location-based. However, there's also a number of projects that are of municipal-wide benefit. The development of the capital works budget is based on strategic need, considering factors such as the asset condition or community needs rather than location. So, in a nutshell, it's not just about the location, but we really consider the needs across the municipality. Thank you. I believe those are all the questions. Thank you, Ms. Blatchford. There is one petition to be received, and this is item 11.1, roundabouts in Joshua Court and Shea Court, Kings Park. And we received this petition with 13 signatories. Can I please have a mover of a motion to receive the petition? Councillor Borg.
I'll move the motion to receive this petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Is there a seconder? Madam Deputy Mayor.
I second it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Borg, would you like to speak on that?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
And Madam Deputy Mayor?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Would any councillors like to speak on this petition? We'll be motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And on to the next items. There are no minutes of delegated committees. There are 14 officers' reports for consideration by council tonight. And in the interest of conducting all the business on tonight's agenda, I won't be granting extensions for speaking time. So if you have any alternate or amended motions this evening, please ensure that you draft these and put them to the governance team via email so they can share it on the screen and form part of the meeting. Want to run the meeting efficiently. Thank you. So we'll move on to our first officer report, 13.1, which is on planning activity update and delegate decisions and planning scheme amendments update for October 2022. I would like to invite Mr. Kelvin Walsh to present.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is to provide Council with a monthly report on the status of planning permit applications and trends in planning approvals in Brimbank and decisions made under delegated authority during the month of October, as well as the status of current planning scheme amendments as at the 31st of October of this year. The officer recommendation is that Council notes the activity update and also notes the summary of planning scheme amendments at attachment 3. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Councillors, any questions for the Director? No questions. Is there a mover of a motion? Councillor Lancashire.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the motion as in notice papers.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Rasic.
I second the motion. Thank you.
Yes, and Councillor Lancashire, would you like to speak on this motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Rasic, as seconder, would you like to speak?
No, thank you.
Any councillors want to speak on this motion? We'll put it to the vote then. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And then the next officer report, 13.2, is the governance report for November 2022. Ms. Georgie Hill, would you like to speak on this report, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The governance report is a standing report within the council meeting agenda. It's predominantly a summary of key operational and governance activity written in compliance with the Local Government Act 1989 and 2020. In this month's report, Council is recommended to endorse 2 submissions in response to Victoria's bus network reform and the new regional platform at Sunshine Station, reduce the credit card facility limit to $500,000, respond to the Municipal Association of Victoria's board grouping of council review, endorse the terms of reference for the Social Justice Coalition Strategic Implementation Group, and endorse a new approach to the investigation of illegal brothels in Brimbank. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Any questions for Ms. Hill, councillors? No questions. Is there a mover of a motion? Madam Deputy Mayor?
I move the motion as per business paper. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Lancashire?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the motion.
Yep. Microphone's working, all good? Okay. Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak on that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to congratulate the Council on the comprehensive government report and thanks to the team for the work done, with some highlights such as the submission to the state government for the need of the public transport and the new regional platform at Sunshine Station. I commend this report to Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. And Councillor Lancashire is seconded. Would you like to speak?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any councillors wanting to speak on the government's report? Well, let's put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And Ms. Georgie Hill, would you like to present the Council Plan Quarterly Progress Report for Year 2, Quarter 1?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report presents the status of the Council Plan 2021 to 2025 for the first quarter of 2022-2023 as presented in the attached progress report. This is a standard quarterly report and it is recommended for Council to note the progress report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Hill? No questions. Is there a move of a motion? Councillor Rasic?
I move the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rasic. Is there a seconder? Madam Deputy Mayor?
I second it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Rasic, would you like to speak?
No, thank you.
Thank you. And Madam Deputy Mayor?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any councillors want to speak on this? I'll put the motion to vote then. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. That report is noted. And we have the Sports Facility Development Plan 2018 and Community Services Infrastructure Plan for 2018 to 2038 report card, as well as the Brimbank Physical Activity Strategy report card for 2021 to 2022. Ms. Lindley Dumble, would you like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report is presented to Council to consider noting the following yearly community report cards: the Sports Facility Development Plan, the Community Services and Infrastructure Plan, the Brimbank Physical Activity Strategy. These documents guide Council's approach to the development and management of community infrastructure, sport, recreation and physical activity opportunities for the Brimbank community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dumble. Any questions for the Director, councillors? Would anyone like to move a motion? Councillor Borg?
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Is there a seconder? Councillor Rasic?
I second the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Borg, would you like to speak on the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The Sports Facility Development Plan report card includes capital upgrades, more specifically pavilion and lighting upgrades, female-friendly change rooms, fence replacements, coaches boxes and goalposts, sports netting upgrades, kitchen upgrades and so on. The Community Services and Infrastructure Plan report card includes the implementation of the facility improvement projects to the total of $1,019,024. It also includes the completion of various kitchen, toilet, flooring, heating and cooling and security lighting upgrades. This report also includes the year for actions and the year for progress report of the Brimbank of the physical activity strategy. It's important also to note that various community consultations were held on the actions, activities and progress with key external and internal stakeholders in development of these report cards. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Councillor Rasic, would you like to speak
No,
on the
thank
motion?
you.
Thank you. Would any of the councillors like to speak on this motion? Putting it to the vote then. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And on to item 13.5, which is the Brimbank Carer Support Plan for 2022 to 2025. Ms. Dumble, would you like to speak on this report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report provides an overview of the submissions received from community consultations and presents the final draft Brimbank Carer Support Plan 2022 to 2025. The final draft plan sets out council-wide actions against 5 priorities which align with the Victorian Carers Strategy 2018 to 2021. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Dumble, councillors? No questions. Is there a mover of a motion? Councillor Bork?
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor David. Thank you. And Councillor Bork, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Council endorsed the draft Brimbank Carer Support Plan 2022-2025, which has been subsequently available for community consultation. A total of 11 written responses were received. Overall, the draft plan received positive feedback from submitters. 3 responses raised issues that fall within the plan's scope for consideration. I would like to thank the members of the community that participated in the consultation. Their passion and enthusiasm for carers of people with disability is highly acknowledged. I would also like to thank Lily and her staff members for their arduous work in developing this plan. I commend this report to Council.
Councillor David, would you like to speak as seconder?
No, Madam Mayor.
Would any other councillors like to speak on the carer support plan? Let's put it to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That carries. And we have the annual community report cards for libraries, neighbourhood houses, Creative Brimbank, and learning and youth jobs. Ms. Dumble.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report is presented to Council to consider noting the following community report cards: the Library Services Annual Report Card, the Brimbank Neighbourhood Houses and Community Centres Annual Report Card, the Creative Brimbank, the Learning and Youth Jobs Annual Report Card. The annual report cards highlight key achievements, programs and services offered through Council's libraries, neighbourhood houses, arts facility and the Brimbank Learning Futures in response to actions and priorities adopted in Council's strategies and plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? No, none. Mover of a motion? Councillor Borg?
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
And a seconder? Madam Deputy Mayor?
Second motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Borg, would you like to speak on the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As the champion for People's Portfolio, I am pleased to see these annual community cards coming to Council for endorsement. A number of programs and services are offered through libraries, neighbourhood houses, arts facilities and Brimbank Learning Future to provide lifelong learning, pathways to employment, social inclusion and creativity. With regards to the library services report card, it's important to note that besides changing lives, that libraries also help the community to connect to reading, Brimbank outdoor spaces and each other. Speaking of connection, Brimbank libraries always look for innovative ways, and one such innovation was the story walk which took place at Kevin Flint Reserve Memorial Park, and it received quite a lot of positive feedback. The programs that run by the libraries are quite varied, ranging from seniors tech talk and digital literacy to little scientists staying ahead. The report card also includes libraries collections, visits, and loans, which is also quite interesting to note. The neighborhood houses and community centers report card. As we know, neighborhood houses and community centers provide great opportunities for people at all stages to connect and learn, strengthen cultural identities, and build a sense of belonging in individuals and groups. In addition, these last 12 months, they continue to support community with access to services, both during and post-COVID-19 restrictions. This report also includes highlights in leadership partnerships and innovations in programming, which is also quite interesting to note, targeting young people, children and families, as well as intergenerational connections. As for the Creative Brimbank, Arts and Culture, again, pleased to see that the Bowery Theatre was successful in attracting 2 years of funding support to assist artists and the local arts sector. Some highlights include the Sydney Memorial, Young, Black and Deadly, which explored employment pathways for young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders students into the arts. The Bold Blackout Festival, which was a great success. The report also includes some facts, some fast facts about arts and cultural programs. And the last report card, quite a few report cards, Madam Mayor, for this meeting, is regarding Learning and Youth Jobs Annual Report Card. Learning and Youth Jobs Annual Report Card is also quite interesting and informative. It includes quite a number of learning programs and services, as well as learning and employment innovations. One highlight is the Learning for Earning Festival, which took place in May. Also piloted iPad learning for seniors with limited digital literacy. I commend this report to Council.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Madam Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak on this report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Agreeing to Councillor Board, I would like to congratulate Director Dumbo and the team for working hard on services and program focused on supporting vulnerable cohorts on several areas like through library, festival events, youth employment service, etc. Congratulations, and I commend this report to Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Any other councillors want to speak on this report or report cards? I'll put the motion to vote then. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And item 13.7 is the final draft disability action plan for 2022 to 2026. Ms. Dumble.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report is presented to Council to consider adopting the final draft Disability Action Plan. The draft plan aligns with the Victorian Government's Inclusive Victoria State Disability Plan. The final draft Disability Action Plan outlines Council's commitment to encouraging and supporting full participation for people living with disability in Brimbank. It sets out a series of key actions informed through extensive consultation, engagement and a successful co-design approach that drew on people with lived experience of disability. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dumble. Any questions? Is there a mover of a motion? Councillor Borg.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move the motion as per business papers.
And a seconder, please. Councillor Rashic.
I second the motion, thank you.
Councillor Borg, would you like to speak on the final draft tab?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Great to see the final draft of the Disability Action plan coming for endorsement. A lot of arduous work has gone into the development of this plan. It's important to note that it has been co-designed, including people with lived experience with disability. What a great way to give such people the opportunity to participate and be actively involved in the development of such an important document that relates to their needs. I would like to thank them for their valuable contributions. I'll never forget the participants' expressions on their faces when they were participating in the developing on this plan. I'm pretty sure it gives them not only a voice but also a sense of empowerment. Disability Action Plan is quite unique and merits a celebration. This Council has taken quite an innovative approach in introducing the co-design concept. I would also like to mention that the launching of the Disability Action Plan 2022-2026 will be the highlight of this year's celebration of the 2022 International Day of People with Disability. I would like to finish by thanking Lynn Lee and her staff, the co-design team, and everyone involved throughout the process to develop the final draft Disability Action Plan 2022-2025. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Rasic, would you like to speak on this as seconder?
I think Councillor Borg summed it up pretty good, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rasic. Any other councillors want to speak on the final draft app? I'll put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. The motion carries. And we're on to the draft Creating Better Parks Policy and Plan for 2022. I'd like to invite Mr. Neil Whiteside to present this item.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Council's Creating Better Parks Policy and Plan was first adopted in 2008 as a blueprint to transform the Brimbank Park network. The aim was to create one of the best park networks in Melbourne through the development of a park network consisting of flagship parks, suburban parks, neighbourhood parks and local reserves. The Creating Better Parks Policy Plan was subsequently reviewed and updated in 2016. In April 2021, Council received a report on the implementation of the Creating Better Parks Policy Plan to date and resolved to schedule a further review in 2021 and 2022. The review and updating the Creating Better Parks Policy Plan has now been completed, and the purpose of this report is for Council to consider endorsing the draft Creating Better Parks Policy and Plan 2022, which is an attachment 1 to the report, for community consultation for a period of 4 weeks and invite written submissions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Neil Whiteside. Are there any questions for Mr. Whiteside? Oh, Councillor Lancashire.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one question relating to this certainly is an extremely important policy for Council. Just the consultation process, sometimes we consult and it's just on the website and we don't get a great response. This certainly affects everyone in the municipality, really. Could we have some comment on how we'll get out to all the households in the municipality? Thanks.
Yes. Madam Mayor, you'd like me to respond? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Lancashire, for the question through you, Madam Mayor. So Council will obviously complete a very robust community consultation process. Of course, we will use Your Say online webpage, but that'll be complemented by a whole range of other strategies to make sure that the message gets out there. From past experience with the Creating Better Parks Policy Plan, we often do get quite a large amount of feedback and responses. The consultation we did in the early stages of reviewing the plan saw many hundred responses, so we're hoping to obviously get a great response from the community. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? If there's no further questions, is there a mover of a motion? Councillor Borg?
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Is there a seconder? Councillor David.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Borg, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Parks play a significant role for our health and well-being. This became more to the forefront during COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdowns. Intensive work has gone as part of the process to review this policy and develop this draft. Indeed, a number of issues were investigated as part of the review, as outlined in the report, including, but not limited to, distribution of parks to ensure equity of access, including access to all ability playground, reviewing the options of fully enclosed playgrounds to support families and children, and options for increasing access to outdoor exercise equipment and sporting infrastructure. I am very much looking forward to the community's feedback. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Neil Whiteside and his staff, more specifically Adrian Gray. I commend this report to Council.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Councillor David, as the seconder, would you like to speak on that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The last few words was mine, and Councillor Borg said it. Yeah, I think, looking back, all my time at council over the years, the last few years at least, Neil and his team provided extremely good facilities in reference to parks, better parks in Brimbank, and they continue to do so, and that's a wonderful thing. People started to enjoy small parks, pop-up parks and all that type of thing, and that's what we're here for, to make it better for our communities, and well done, Neil, and your team.
Thank you. Any other councillors want to speak on the motion? Councillor Lancashire.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would certainly echo the words of Councillor Borg and Councillor David. The sort of coming back on council in the last term and what we've achieved over the last 6 years through the staff has been absolutely amazing. There was a huge shift in priorities and a huge shift in resources to achieve fantastic results. This plan certainly reflects that concern of council, interest of council in this particular topic, and all the hard work of staff in achieving this. So I would certainly recommend the recommendation that is here to my fellow councillors. And if I add probably one comment from a perspective, we have a hierarchy of parks and we have specialised heritage parks. I guess I would probably like to see that we start to think about giving a priority to tourism, and Sydenham Park as separately defined as a tourism park. It's our largest park and has some very unique characteristics. Almost every time you go there you see kangaroos. Tourists, it's almost number one on their list. So that other than that comment, I think this is an excellent piece of work and look forward to the public consultation. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. And any other councillors want to say something? I'll put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. Yeah, I agree. Our parks are... We've got a great team with our parks. What can I say? Like world class right there. And it's only going to get better. And please, really encourage the community, provide your feedback on how we can make better parks in Brimbank. And then now we're on to Waste Reforms Update, Universal Food Organics and Garden Organics, also known as VOGO, Service Model Options. Mr. Whiteside.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. At the Council meeting on the 19th of July 2022, Council received an update on the State Government's waste reforms proposed from its circular economy policy and resolved to implement a staged 4-bin waste and recycling collection service model once the current risks are better understood. Council also resolved to receive a further report in relation to introduction of a universal food organics, garden organics collection service. The purpose of this report is for Council to receive that report on the options relating to a universal FOGO service and to make a determination. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Whiteside. Any questions? No questions. Any mover of a motion? Any movers? Councillor Lancashire.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the recommendation in the council report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. Is there a seconder? Councillor Rashid.
I second the motion, thank you.
Councillor Lancashire, would you like to speak as a mover?
Yes, as I seem to be encouraged to do so. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, this is another one of the reports that is very complex. I think when it comes to roads, rates and rubbish, there are still those inevitable things that are very important to our local residents. Well done to the Director and the staff who have gone through quite an extensive process to get to this point and will continue working hard on these issues. Having been on the Metropolitan Waste Committee, which was deleted by the state government and converted into a government department, and chair of the SPAG committee for that, I did have a lot to do with that, and I still feel a little bit lost now. All of that's gone. However, these changes are important. I particularly like the FOGO. I know some things are being delayed because there's high cost, and also there's considerable difficulty in getting the community to take these things on. So painfully I've had to accept that we'll go at that pace. However, we have all had detailed briefings on it, and we think we're doing the right thing for the community. Again, thank you, Mr Whiteside, and I recommend this report to my fellow councillors.
Thank you for moving the motion. And Councillor Rashid, would you like to say something? As
No,
seconder?
thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to put in any words? I'll put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And we'll now have the report on the process, costs and timelines in changing the name of Sydenham Park. Ms Dumble.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report outlines the processes, costs and timelines involved in changing the name of Sydenham Park to an appropriate Aboriginal name suggested by local Aboriginal groups in consultation with Council and the Brimbank community. This follows a notice of motion which was passed at the July Council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Dumble. Any questions? No questions. Is there a mover of a motion? Councillor Lancashire.
Madam Mayor, I would like to move an alternate motion, please.
So a motion? This motion?
Yes. That Council notes the report on the processes, costs and timelines involved in changing the name of Sydenham Park, proceeds with the naming process and consultation with Wurundjeri Wurrung Cultural Heritage Aboriginal Corporation and community for the renaming of Sydenham Park to an appropriate Aboriginal name. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. Is there a seconder? Councillor Rashid.
I second the motion,
Thank you. Councillor Lancashire, as the mover.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. Can I ask a question to Ms Dumble?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah. Question.
Ms Dumble, if council proceeds with the naming, to my understanding it will cost roughly about $26,000. Where would that money come from?
Thank you. Through the Chair, Councillor Borg, we don't currently have that budgeted for, so we would, that's why we have, the recommendation has been to refer it to the next budget. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, you have a question, Councillor Rashid?
Yeah, I do. For Istanbul, can we take money from somewhere else, from some other project, and allocate it for this? Or
Thank you, Councillor Russick. Through the Chair, we would need to come back to Council around some options that would have to be around actually, I guess, stopping some other initiatives that were already, I guess, budgeted and underway. So we could come back to council with that advice. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Councillor Lancashire, as the mover, would you like to speak on this motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The proposal to rename Sydenham Park to a Wurundjeri name has been proposed by the local community for some time. This proposal is also supported by the local Historical Society and Friends of Sydenham Park. I have also had the pleasure of raising this idea with a number of Wurundjeri elders. The feedback I have from all of these groups and individuals is of support for this proposal. Sydenham Park is Council's largest park. It has considerable significance from an Aboriginal cultural heritage perspective. It also has significance from an earlier settler perspective, sporting functions, and of course the Model Aircraft Club. When the park is open to the public next year, it will become, I believe, a major local and tourist attraction within Brimbank. Sydenham Park is located some distance from Sydenham. As Chair of Council's Heritage Advisory Committee, I have given this idea of changing the name very careful consideration. Last Saturday, at the 50th anniversary of volunteering at the Organ Pipes National Park, a welcome to country was provided by Wurundjeri elder Uncle Bill Nicholson. I had the honour to meet and talk with Uncle Bill. Amongst various matters, we discussed the proposal to change the name of Sydenham Park to a more appropriate Indigenous name. Uncle Bill believed this was a good idea and it would continue the healing process. A few ideas of names were discussed. Meeting Place was suggested to recognise that the confluence of Jackson's Creek, Deep Creek and the Maribyrnong River where First Nations people would have met has already been taken. The Wurundjeri word for meeting place is Nunawading. The Wurundjeri word for eagle could be considered because of the number of wedge-tailed eagles that fly over Sydenham Park. However, the Wurundjeri word for wedge-tailed eagle, Bunjil, has already been taken by an arts and entertainment centre in the city of Casey. Any visitor to Sydenham Park will tell you that there is an abundance of kangaroos there. The Wurundjeri word for kangaroo is merm, if I've pronounced it correctly. This doesn't appear to be used anywhere as a place name. The Wurundjeri word for welcome is Warramjika. This also does not appear to be used as a place name. The process of changing the name of Sydenham Park could be fun and educational. We may all learn a lot more about our local Indigenous language, as well as in the words of Uncle Bill, continue the healing process. So I would certainly recommend this recommendation to my fellow councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. And as seconder, Councillor Rashid, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. I support Councillor Lancashire's alternate motion. I think this is an excellent way to pay respect to Aboriginal community, especially given the cultural significance of Sydenham Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Would Councillor Borg?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am not in favour of this amended motion. In principle, I do support the renaming of the Sydenham Park. There is a rich Aboriginal history embedded in this park. It's important that its name reflects such an integral part of this park. However, considering the expenses involved and that there is no money allocated in the budget, I am happy to wait for the next budget and considering it at that time. So for this reason, I will not be voting in favour of this motion. Thank you.
Would any of our councillors like to speak on this motion? Councillor David?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just briefly, I think listening to Councillor Lancashire in reference to his report here, is we had similar type of process with the Leisure Centre where we had a number of names given to us by the governors at the time, where we didn't like one, and at the very end we finished with the name we gave the leisure centre now. And we didn't have to go to all the meetings and things that I heard last time with the different Aboriginal type of committees as such. And some of us, we got uncles and aunties all around us. Uncle Ron just around the corner here in Bearbrook somewhere. And these people can come up with really good name, Aboriginal names, where we can take a name we want a meaning to represent the Cinder Park, and we go from there instead of going all the way to perhaps having meetings and no budget allocation on it as well. And we can do that before the end of this perhaps September Council. That's my opinion, and I support perhaps the amendment by Councillor Lancashire. Thank you.
Would ever council like to speak on this? Madam Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I ask a question to Director Dumbo? Can you confirm that the naming processes have to go through just like what Councillor David had just said?
Thank you, through the chair, Madam Mayor. Because this is on the traditional owners' lands of the Wurundjeri, we do actually have to actually consult with the traditional owner group. The state government also have guidelines about actually the process to actually undertake that around naming. So that is actually what our advice has been based on, is actually the process of working with the traditional owner group. So thank you. Which does include the meetings. So we've done an estimate of how many sort of meetings that might take. So thank you.
Councillor Dang.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Director Lindley. I support in changing the name, but Director Lindley said that the budget is haven't allocated for the change name process. So I'm against on the amendment motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dang. I just have a question. So, with this motion, is it just changing the timeline of when the name would be changed if it was supported?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess we could start commencing the process as soon as possible. I think some of the challenges for us is around the resources needed to do this piece of work. It certainly fits with the intention of the RAP to actually to have this type of renaming done. It's more around the staff resources and also, as we've mentioned, the other costs that are involved in the name change. So we could certainly start the process, but some of the more costly items we haven't got budgeted for. So thank you.
Thank you. I think all the councillors have spoken, so Councillor Lancashire, you have a right of reply if you want to.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Look, I think the key thing here is that it doesn't change the process. That was clearly explained by the Director. The process doesn't change. It does mean that we start the process, and I think it's been indicated that the process could take a minimum of 6 months, maybe 18 months. So it would span over the time to which the delaying of this as a budget measure would occur anyway. In terms of things that have been suggested, there could be up to 10 meetings. I don't believe that we did that with the Bork name change. I don't believe we've done that with any of the street name changes we've done. Look, I think the process here is one that's highly beneficial to the healing process, to our relationship with the Aboriginal community and the community generally. It will occur over potentially a long time, 6 months minimum, and in that regard the budget costs would be spread out over a long period of time to incorporate what had been alternatively suggested anyway. So again, I think the benefits also in terms of opening the park up in the next 6 months next year, to also align that possibly with a name change would be fantastic for the community. And I think there's certainly some considerable potential and benefit to council in seeing that our largest park is named as such, but to take on a point of view of let's delay it over something, and I recall at the last meeting, you know, we contributed a substantial saving fund which wasn't budgeted for to help out a community group. We contributed 160,000 into a park event at Keilor. All of those things weren't budgeted for, and we agreed to. This significant ongoing change is by comparison minor. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. With all those councillors have spoken, we'll now put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. Well, with the majority of votes in favour, that motion carries. And now we'll move on to the quarterly budget report. For July, August, and September, I'd like to invite Mr. Shane Ma.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is to present to Council the quarterly budget report and accompanying statements for the period ended 30th of September 2022. This report is the standard report presented to Council each quarter. It includes Council's year-to-date financial performance compared with budget and also forecasts the financial performance at the end of the year. This report is designed to identify any major variances against the budget. The report is presented to Council for noting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ma. Any questions? Any movers of a motion? Councillor Borg.
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Is there a seconder? Councillor David.
Second motion.
Thank you. Councillor Borg, would you like to speak as mover?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. This quarterly report indicates that the annual budget for 2022-23 financial year has an operating surplus of $9.41 million. It also shows that the capital works actual expenditure is $10.58 million against a budget of $8.83 million. Regarding the cash position, the annual budget has a cash balance of $83.83 million at the end of the financial year. This report also includes the forecast for the next financial year. This is to ensure overall financial strength of Council. This demonstrates that Council is managing its finances in a sustainable and responsible manner. I commend this report to Council.
And Councillor David, would you like to speak as seconder?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any councillors want to speak on this motion as well? I'll put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And we'll now move on to our contracts. The first contract is contract number 20/2685 SPC, Records Management System, extension of contract. Mr. Ma.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is for Council to consider approving an extension for contract 20/2685 SPC Records Management Systems to Capiche Services Proprietary Limited. The Electronic Document Records Management System is one of Council's core systems used by all departments for managing digital records in accordance with the legislative requirements. It is recommended that Council awards Year 4 extension for the contract to Capiche Services and delegates the Year 5 extension to the CEO. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Is there a move of a motion? And I note that there are 3 contracts. Madam Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, I would like to move the contract 13.12, 13.13 and 13.14 in a block, please.
Is that as per officer's recommendations on the
Yeah,
business papers?
office, the recommendations.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder for moving these items on block? Thank you. Madam Deputy, would you like to speak on that?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor David? Any councillors want to say something? Which you can, if you want. If not, okay, we can put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That carries. So we're moving them on the block. Yeah, okay. Just had to confirm that. Okay, those are all the officer reports. Now we'll move on to notices of motion, of which there are 2 for consideration. And please note, councillors, the notice of motion must be moved as printed in the papers, and only if it's seconded that an amendment can be moved. And the first notice of motion is item 14.1, Canley Drive bus route, from Madam Deputy Mayor Dang.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move the notice of motion as per screen share, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder? Councillor Borg?
I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
And Madam Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak on this notice of motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So, agreeing on the Council Transport Priorities paper to the 2022 and the recent submission to the Department of Transport regarding to bus reform in Victoria, I'm asking Council to write to the Minister for Public Transport, the Honourable Ben Carroll, to call for the delivery of a new bus service between Sunshine Station and the Brimbank Shopping Centre via Ballarat Road and Canley Drive prior to any development of the state-owned land at 147 Canley Drive, Canley. Canley is one of the areas in Brimbank that had grown in population and is still one of the most car-dependent without corresponding investment to the public transport network. Despite the number of bus routes operating along Ballarat Road and Station Road, and by the local service along Furlong Road to connect to St. Albans Station and Brimbank Shopping Centre, Canley Drive has no bus route at all connect to the Furlong Road and to the Ballarat Road. Therefore, the residents in the area are relying on the private vehicles, which causing heavy traffic congestion along Canley Drive and Ballarat Road. The future development in Canley area could also causing more trouble in congestion. According to the community's concern, councillors, I could strongly call for your support to ask the state government to consider an urgent need for additional bus routes in the suburb of Canley in order to reduce car dependence and increase public transport access to nearby activity centres. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. And Councillor Borg, as seconder, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Connectivity is critical to meet the community's needs. So are buses. The prospective development at Canley by Development Victoria will be including 840 dwellings. Many of them will be social and affordable housing. This means that most people occupying those dwellings will be from a low socio-economic development. Many of them will not be able to own a car and will be relying on public transport. At this stage, there are no buses going through this part of Kelly. Therefore, no connectivity to work, shopping centres, schools, sports facilities, medical centres, and so on. And yet, there is a courtesy bus to take people for free to the two pokies venues that are less than half a kilometre away. This community will be set up for failure unless a bus service will be provided to meet its needs. The need for this bus has also been identified in Council's Transport Position Paper 2022. It stated that a bus route connecting Sydenham and Sunshine and Brimbank Shopping Centre via Kelly Drive will facilitate public transport access to existing and emerging development and increase regional access to Sunshine's precinct. For this reason, I will support this motion. Thank you.
Any other speakers on this motion? Councillor Lancashire.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would certainly like to support and echo the comments of Councillor Dang and Councillor Borg. I recently attended a forum on bus transport, as you did too, Madam Mayor. And it was a series of forums, and I think it was highlighting to, certainly to all of us, that the bus network is underdone. And there are some areas in the municipality like Hanley where it is appallingly underdone, and better services are needed. So I congratulate and support the notice of motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other councillors want to speak on this motion? I'll now put the notice of motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That notice of motion carries. And our second notice of motion is from Councillor Lancashire, Sunshine Energy Park.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The motion is the Council receives a report on the establishment of an urban forest, native grassland reserve and solar energy farm at Energy Park. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Rasic?
I second the motion.
And Councillor Lancashire, would you like to speak on your notice of motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As pollution, heat waves, flooding and habitat destruction worsen worldwide, humans are coming up with more creative solutions to battle climate crisis. An example of this is the increasing number of landfill sites across the US that are being repurposed as solar farms. A landfill is a toxic disposal site for solid waste covered in layers of dirt, an example of human excess and rampant polluting of our planet. When grass has begun to grow on a landfill, it can look green and lush, but landfills have been categorised as brownfields by the US Environmental Protection Agency, contaminated sites that are a danger to the environment, too unhealthy and unstable to be developed. 113 landfill to solar projects with 1 megawatt or greater capacity have been built in the US. The largest landfill to solar project in the US is being developed 27 kilometres south of Houston, Texas, in Sunnyside. The finished project will cover 97 hectares of former landfill and power about 5,000 homes per year. Once a landfill, like the one in Sunnyside, is decommissioned, it becomes a blight to the community, wasted space that could emit toxic pollutants if punctured by buildings, structures, or not properly capped. Building solar panels on former landfills is safe because they are able to be built on concrete ballasts that won't disrupt the dirt cap. Local communities are more in charge of how landfills are used since they are now under the ownership and control of municipalities. There's an opportunity here for partially correcting some environmental injustices that have occurred, such as in the western suburbs of Melbourne. About 2 megawatts of the 50 total the Sunnyside solar project will generate will be put into a community solar project that could help lower the costs of electricity for Sunnyside residents. There's also a 150 megawatt storage facility for excess solar power to be used when needed to help prevent blackouts. And I certainly do notice that there's been proposals in budgets to provide battery systems to communities, and this may well be a site where that could be considered. There are two council policies that are particularly relevant to Energy Park. Firstly, there is the council policy relating to urban forests, and secondly, council's policy relating to climate change emergency. It is understood that sunshine has a significant heat island effect. This can be deadly for people living without adequate air conditioning. Trees are one of the most significant methods of reducing the heat island effect. We have already undertaken significant tree planting at Energy Park, and that includes grants to of quite a large number of trees to go in that area. The continuation and extension of the program of tree planting at Energy Park is very important in reducing the heat island effect on surrounding neighbourhoods. In addition, trees are useful in lowering water tables, which can be important on filled sites, such as Energy Park. The proposal to establish a solar farm at Energy Park also sits well with Council's policy on climate change emergency. Industry experts advise that a solar farm could be established at Energy Park at no cost to Council and provide a regular income that could be used to help maintain this park and extend the planting of trees and native grasses. These experts also advise that the solar panels can be removed at any time should Council wish to provide walking tracks through this area in the future when it is safe to do so, while the fill at Energy Park will require many years to settle and compact. The proposal to establish an urban forest and solar farm will help set this park up for a better future, a better long-term future. The redevelopment of Energy Park as an urban forest and solar farm provides an excellent opportunity for Council to correct mistakes of the past and provide a quality environmental outcome for the surrounding Sunshine residents.
Yeah, like 1 minute left. Are you good?
Good.
Oh, wow, okay, thank you.
Did I run out of time?
Oh, you nearly did, but just in time.
Spot on.
Spot on. Okay. Councillor Rasic, would you like to speak a seconder?
I support this nom. I think it'll be great to see Council generate some possible income from Energy Park in future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Borg.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I like the idea of the establishment of an urban forest native grasslands reserve and the solar energy farm at Energy Park for the reasons that have been very much clearly outlined by Councillor Lancashire. However, considering that the draft Sunshine Energy Park Vision Plan is coming to Council in December, I am happy to wait for that draft plan. And for that reason, I feel that I don't need to vote for this, in favour of this norm.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Would any of the councillors like to speak on this notice of motion? Councillor David.
Madam Mayor, I think I have to. It's my ward, so I have to say a few words here. Look, I was very much taken with the presentation we had, I think it was about 3.5 weeks ago, in reference to the Energy Park. It's something that I haven't seen before. I was very much taken by that presentation. And indeed, it was always earmarked for a sporting arena. But what Councillor Lancashire is bringing before us tonight is in need of that as well. So it's plenty of room to do all these things. And he mentioned America and a few places in America before. I remember seeing a documentary, an American documentary as well, in reference to a landfill where they built a beautiful stadium there, how with the piers and everything else, concrete thereafter, and then soil on top of it. So it was very safe, and they played good games there. I was very much taken by that documentary. So it's always room for something, always that we need with our city, and what Councillor Lancashire said before, I think is very much of room there for it. So I support that. I support the not some motion. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor David. Any other councillors who would like to say some words? Councillor Lancashire, someone has spoken against, so would you like a right of reply?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I've certainly made the comment before that there's maybe two futures for Energy Park. There's, because of the settlement going on, which could be for decades. So there's a long-term future. However, in the meantime, there is the climate change emergency need, which is now. We talked about cost of income, cost of the renaming of Sydenham Park before. Certainly, we need to look at other options where we can make some income from our parks and not necessarily increasing the fees of sporting grounds and things like that. This is a great way to increase income for our parks. I would certainly like to see that money reinvested in Energy Park, possibly through a reserve fund or something. And I think it's something which needs to be done now. Climate change is affecting us now. Working on the heat island effect and increasing the planting for the people of Sunshine and surrounding areas, we do need to do those things now. So there's things that need to be done now, and I do believe that this motion is aimed at what we can do right now, make some money, generate electricity through solar panels, spend that money on native grasses and trees, and improve on the heat island effect to the benefit of the people of Sunshine now, and the massive cost of other things that might occur in the future. Certainly that doesn't preclude that, but it does mean that we put a sense of doing something for the community now versus paying a lot of money for something which would be a long-term thing. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
We'll now proceed to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. That motion carries. And there are no rescission motions. Ms. Fiona Blair, our CEO, is there any urgent business?
No, Madam Mayor, there's no urgent business.
And there is one item of confidential business. May I please have a mover of a motion to close the meeting in accordance with Section 662A of the Local Government Act 2020 to public members for the consideration of the report, which is item number 17.1. As designated, yes?
I move the motion to close the meeting in camera.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Borg.
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Rasic, would you like to speak on that?
No, thank you.
And Councillor Borg? Okay, I'll just put it to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That motion carries. So I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's currently viewing the live stream of this meeting. The meeting will now be closed to public members and also those in the gallery. Hello. We will reopen the meeting to the public after this item, which is confidential, is considered by the council. So it's now closed at 8:29 p.m. Thank you again for your patience. I declare this meeting reopened at 8:38 p.m. Council has considered the confidential report 17.1 and has resolved that Council will publicly make available the resolutions of that report. So thank you all for attending and for your interest in tonight's meeting. As Councillor Jasmine Nguyen, Brimbank, it's been an honour to be serving as your mayor for 2021 to 2022. And I guess for the last time this year, I declare this meeting closed at 8:39 p.m. Thank you all. I instruct Channel 31 to stop live streaming the meeting.